So obviously the first thing you need to do is you're going to need to get a download. Okay, so depending on what you're going to be running, AMD, ARM, well, that's basically 64-bit, ARM 64-bit, 32-bit, whatever these are, others. You've got the image here and the ISO. Now I'm going to be using the ISO for the virtual machine, but you've got the image here, which can be written to a USB. So for example, so what you want to do is you really want to, well, first of all, make sure you download it. So if I was going to download it, download like the AMD 64 or the image. Again, I'm not exactly sure what you need. It says that for the USB. So maybe you need the image for the USB. So either the image or the ISO. And where you've saved it. So I've got it here. So we're going to go sudo su. Okay. And what you're also going to want to do is lsblk. So if you're running Linux, use lsblk. And I've got a USB attached here, SDB. Make sure you get the right device, of course. And then you want to run this kind of command, if I find it. So you want to do dd if make sure you're in the right directory, make sure you're actually in the directory where you are, or you can put the path here, but just good practice. Install the 77, and that's the version number of FreeBSD.iso or .image, depending obviously on your whatever you're using, image or ISO. I'm just going to do ISO just to demonstrate. So if you're doing this on bare metal, this is what you do. And then make sure you get the right device. Okay, so dev SDB, don't do your hard drive in. Okay, don't overwrite your root and home or whatever. And then BS equals 1. So what you can play around with this if you want. This is what they recommend. So here you go. That's what they're recommending there. Okay. So and then just run that, and then it's going to start the process. You could probably put status at the end there, and that maybe gives you the status, but whatever. So I'm just going to, I don't really need this. So I'm going to just Control C, hopefully that, whatever, doesn't matter. So once that's done, obviously you're going to have to restart your computer and do whatever you need to do. You know, hit F1, F2 and have your boot device as USB or whatever. But for everyone else, you're going to do it on a VM. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And there's a few things about the VM that's a bit tricky. Let's have a little look at the comments. I'm thinking of leaving Gmail and having my own email server, and OpenBSD seems a nice choice since email is a mess and BSD has simple architecture. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Yeah, because OpenBSD is well renowned for being, you know, trusted web server. So, I mean, it's either going to be Debian probably or OpenBSD. So, I think Mental Outlaw has done a video on having OpenBSD as a web server, so maybe check that out. Okay, so I'm in KVM QEMU virtual machine. You could probably use VirtualBox as well, whatever. So I'm going to create a new virtual machine. I'm worried about how slow this is going to go, but whatever. So local install media architecture, yeah, that's fine. Hit forward. I'm going to do browse, downloads, and let's browse local. So that's what I want. Open that. And then untick this, and I want OpenBSD. I should show up. Is it showing up? OpenBSD. I can't remember now. Oh, okay. OpenBSD, include end of life. Now, I don't know why I've got to do this, but I'm putting in 7.5. Now, obviously, this is 7.7, but whatever. Okay, hit forward. Now, I think there's a quirk where you've got to give it 2 CPUs or it doesn't work properly. So just saying that. So I'm just going to give it 2 CPUs. I'm just going to have whatever, 20 gigs. That's fine. Forward. We'll just leave the name as that. Now I want to customize the configuration before installing because there's an issue again with the setup that you're going to have to do. And I'm going to leave it as virtual network NAT. Okay, so that's just like a natural sort of bridge between using your system's internet that will just work with OpenBSD. Okay, let's type finish. Right. Now chipset, I think that's okay. I hope that's okay. Anyway, let's see how this goes. But you need to switch from disk bus on the IDE. You need to change this to SATA, okay? Hit apply and then begin installation. Now I'm hoping this is going to work. Okay, so what it's going to do now is it's going to start booting up. While it's doing that, let's have a look, see what's happening. Why do I use Virt Manager over command line QEMU? Good point. I don't know. I just haven't really. I've just always used the Virt Manager, probably because you're going to use it in a graphical environment anyway. QEMU, or can you use it in like the TTY? That'd be interesting to know. So I just use Virt Manager, but that's a good point. I should probably use the command line QEMU. Are you aware of the X Libra drama? Yep, I am. I think I covered that in my previous stream, so have a look at that. Self-hosted email is going to be a rough process, but good luck. Look at Luke Smith's video on self-hosting server. It's not too bad. I've got self-hosting emails fine. Okay. Output in your host terminal. Oh, okay. Thanks for the heads up. Anyway, so let's make this full screen. So it will just boot up. Obviously, if you're running on hard, cold metal or whatever, what am I talking about? Bare metal, okay? It should just boot up. Now, interesting with BSD, most of this stuff is just kind of like automated. It's trying to follow like good practice stuff, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little look at the documentation. So here we go. Performing a simple install. We'll just look down here. Anything interesting to look here? Not really. Pre-installation checklist. You can look at that if you want. Gives you some information here. So obviously we created the media, we're booted in, file sets. You can have like you can have a custom install, but this is where we are here. So we're going to go to install. Okay. So like it says here, the installer is designed to install OpenBSD in a very usable default configuration with a minimum of user intervention. In fact, you can just hit enter to get a good OpenBSD install. So again, it's just kind of nice defaults for security. It's trying to hold your hand and make sure you've got a, Arch obviously is really whatever you want. Same with Gentoo and others, but BSD is trying to follow some good practice, but you can still have a custom setup. Obviously, I'm not going to bother with that today. So I'm going to type capital I to install. I'm in the UK, but hit L for list. If you want a list, I'm just going to do UK. So I'm in the UK. System host name. Let's just call this OpenBSD test. Available network interfaces. So I've got VIO and VLAN. So VIO is the virtual. VLAN would be like the Ethernet, I guess. So I'm just going to go default VIO 0. IVP4 autoconf, yeah, just autoconf that. We're not worried about IVP6. Network interface to configure, yeah, let it configure the network interface. So it's done what is it, DCHP there, so it's assigned your IP and all this kind of stuff. So password for root account, so obviously create a password. Start SSHD, yeah. So this again is just going to like start a daemon of SSH in the background. We're just going to hit yes. Do you expect to run the X Windows system? Yeah, that's fine. Do you want the X Windows system to be started by XenoDM? Now, I'm not a fan of XenoDM, but it's there for security. So it's a display manager, right? It's like a login manager. Why you have to have a login manager, but it's something to do with security. You don't have to use it, I think. You can bypass it, but anyway, I'm not going to have it automatically started, so I'm just going to hit no. Change the default console to COM0. I don't even know what that is. Maybe we'll look that up another time. Set up a user, so I'm just going to call this open test. James Champion, whatever. Do a password. So create a user. Allow root SSH login. Now the default is no. So that's again like a good practice thing. We're going to hit no then. It knows that I'm Great Britain time zone. Okay, that's fine. Available disks. So SDO is the virtual machine disk. So that's fine. I'm going to hit OK. Encrypt. So you can encrypt it automatically, I guess. Encrypt the root disk with passphrase or key disk. Nice. I'm going to say no. I'm not worried about that. Use the whole disk. Okay, so again, you can have it, you know, like you would on Arch. You can do whatever you want, but we're just going to do whole because that's what we can do. Now, interestingly, if you look at the way OpenBSD does its disk, it separates, I think, a lot of these into different partitions, and this is like a good practice thing. So this again is like an OpenBSD philosophy. So like var has got its own partition and all this kind of stuff, and A is the default, so we're going to go with that default. Okay, let's install the sets. So the sets are like your programs. This is what they call it. Again, this can be customized, but that's fine. Path name, that's fine. And then these are your sets here. They're all selected. So I'm just going to go done. Now, hopefully this is all going to work. SHA-56 SIG. Now, interestingly with this, see if I can get out of this. Mouse disappeared. I don't know where it's gone. I was going to show you. Anyway, if you look at the documentation, SHA-56, you're really only testing the SHA-56 on the ISO or the image in your terminal before you start the installation. And the reason it doesn't make sense to do this now is because you're already at the installer stage, okay? So just hit continue without verification. Look up the documentation on that. Now I'm going to hit yes. Okay, hopefully this is going to work. Looks like it's working. So as you can see, it's installing. Now I would look at the comments, but I can't get to my mouse. Escape. Can't get to my mouse. I do that. Anyway, yeah, I can't get to my mouse, so whatever. I don't know if this is installing it properly. I keep pressing like escape and that. I think I might have affected it, but whatever. Is there a way? I don't know. 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 Okay, that's annoying. So yeah, you're just going to have to watch this install. It shouldn't take too long. And hopefully I can just power it off and then look at the comments. %, 95. Nearly done on that bit. I hope this is going to be quicker. Yeah, so I can't even see the comments because I click the mouse and I don't know how. It's just not getting out of this. Oh. Is it going to show? It's not doing it. Oh. So annoying. I can. Anyway. Classic YouTuber. Okay, location of sets done. Fine. Good. Good. Time appears wrong. Yeah. Okay. Correct that. Firmware update. Okay. Yeah. So it's just finishing off the install, and hopefully we'll be done in a moment. But as you saw, that pretty much was what it said. So it's got set defaults, just hit enter on most things. It'll probably be all right. If you have to have, you know, some sort of bespoke Arch-like setup or Gen 2, then obviously you're going to customize it. But these are like good defaults. That's the idea anyway. I hope this doesn't take long. So I can't get out of this screen now for a minute. Never click the mouse in a virtual machine. So dangerous, especially in full screen mode. And I can't remember the key to escape full screen mode or the shortcut. I noticed as well, if I'm running something like OpenBSD in the virtual machine, it doesn't react like a Linux distro does in the virtual machine. It like takes over your computer. Okay, so you should probably reboot now. So we're just going to reboot. And when you log in, read your mail using the mail command. Okay. Nice. So if you're running on bare metal, again, you're probably going to have to change the boot sequence in F1, F2 and your BIOS or whatever. Obviously on the virtual machine, it's just going to boot up, which should do anyway. See what's happening. 8 people now. Do you have a website? If you're talking to me, yeah, I do have a website. It's just jameschampion.xyz. And there's not a lot there really. I think it's usually in the bio, but I don't know. Oh, you found it. If you would switch from Linux to free OpenBSD, which would you pick? Well, probably OpenBSD. Probably OpenBSD. I'd probably get a LibreBoot machine, you know, and probably do OpenBSD. I don't know. I'd probably really go with what the LibreBoot developers suggest. Or anyway, right. So yeah, set my login now. So if we let's go back to. Okay, so we've done all this bootstrapping wireless firmware. Now, if you've got issues where you haven't got an Ethernet cable to begin with, if you're doing bare metal, then obviously look at the documentation. You know, you might have to do some stuff, but as long as you got Ethernet, you'll be fine. What are they saying here? Yes, you might have to get some firmware, basically. So this is all customization, so we don't need any of this now. Let's go back. Where is, okay. We want the FAQ index. Okay, so we've done the main installation, right? And then we've got system management. Is there anything interesting in system management? So again, you can read all this system daemons. Most of it should be started. We've done our password for root. Clock syncing should have been done now. Time zone should have been done. Again, on Arch Linux, you would obviously do this kind of manually. Most of this stuff's done by default. Character sets, no. Using S key one-time password. Again, you can set it up if you want, not fast. Directory services. Okay, don't need any of that. Server, whatever, client. Okay, so we don't need anything from that at the moment. So package management. So these utilities here are your standard ones. So package add is like install, package check. Okay, it's like package pacman-sy and u, I guess. Yeah, SYU or load update as well. Package delete for removing installed packages, for displaying information about packages. Okay. So you can select a mirror here. Finding packages. Installing packages. Anyway, let's just get back to doing this. Now, should I do full screen? It's deadly. Okay. So I'm going to log in. I think it was open test. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay, so it suggests you look at mail. So I think if they send you like little things, so please use send bugs utility to report bugs to the system. Before reporting a bug, please try to whatever. Okay, so if you type mail, welcome to OpenBSD, 3 new messages. So I'm not even going to bother reading this at the moment. Okay, so for more information, how to set up your OpenBSD man after boot. Okay, that's kind of nice. So you can look at all this stuff. Page you're looking for, man K Ethernet, info subsystem. Okay, please read the manual pages. Okay, so that's nice. So report, okay. Mirror selection is usually automatic, nice. And I'm using like L, J and K keys here to go up and down. Like it's obviously in like less the program, if you know that from Linux. Okay, save it. So you can save this if you want. I'm just going to hit enter, and that goes to the next message. And this is like configuration stuff. Okay, so that's all the stuff I kind of put in. And so if I hit enter, yeah, end. Okay. and then message free, and then just whatever, just info on. Okay, that's that. Let's go here. Let's see what's happening. Does OpenBSD do ZFS as setup like FreeBSD? I don't know. Well, you're probably going to have to look at the customization. So in that whole bit about FAQs, you're probably going to have to look at customizing the install process, and putting in whatever you want, whatever file system. You're going to have to read the documentation, I think, on that one. So package management. So what we kind of want to do is have updating packages. So let's start here first. Install packages can be updated. Now I'm thinking this because, like Pac-Man, you need to sync, but I'm thinking I need to do pkg check first. Pkg. Do I do underscore check? Okay, I think that's right. Seems to be all right. And then let's do pkg add you. Yeah. So we'll do pkg add underscore u, pkg. Oops, no, no. Let's make this full screen. Pkg. Is that right? Not even sure. Okay, yeah. Add you. Must be run as root. So now with this, I haven't set up do as, which is like sudo. So I'm just going to go su. So now I'm root or super user. So I'm just going to do pkg add you. Looks to be doing something. Can't find you. Okay. Don't know what that means. So maybe there's nothing to update. So removing packages, deleting. You can find info on packages. So if I want to add a package or install a package, I guess let's do a cliche htop. Okay, let's do pkg add htop. See what happens. Okay, so it's installing htop. Great. Why it's installing this stuff. SQLite, XE compressor, but Python as well. You need Python for htop. It shows you how much I'm aware of these things. I thought htop wouldn't need whatever. I guess it needs it to get certain information. I don't even know. Why does it need Python? Does that make sense? I wonder if top's installed. I should have just used top. But anyway, I'm showing you how to install a package. Obviously, it's dealing with all the dependencies, which is nice. So if I do htop, there you go, htop. Q. Right. So let's have a look again what we've got here. So you've got delete. So I could delete htop if I wanted to. Let's look at info. You've got lists. Let's do info. I think it shows info on here. Info AQ. Search for any package name. AQ. Another way. Package locate. Available. Okay. Let's try both. So if I do pkg info aq htop. Okay, so there you go, saying it's installed. What if I do pkg info aq top, for example? Okay, so this is like a list of related things with top in the title. So, so let's look at i3. Okay, see what it says. Yeah, so you've got i3 lock, and all these kinds of things. So it's giving you a list of packages. Okay, now if I do, what was it? Wrong button. Oh, and you can do pkg locate. I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, so let's kind of move on from packages. Nothing really that interesting there. So building the system from source, we don't need to do that because we've done it. Disk setup, networking, don't need to do that. So networking might be an issue. So for example, if you're setting up like your Wi-Fi to log in, if you haven't done this already, say you're still on your Ethernet, you're gonna want to look for something like, let's see, here we go. So configure a wireless adapter. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want hostname, an example for a file of the hostname. Oh, okay, so you're going to want to go to etc hostname and .conf, whatever you want to call it, interface specific configuration. Oh, okay. So if I look, I go to cd etc host name. Oh, okay. So as you can see, I've got VIO. So if I do vim etc host name VIO, that's your file. Okay, so that's your file for what it's connecting to. Now, obviously, this is automatically connecting. So maybe if you've got, I don't know, whatever the name of your device is, what would it be? I don't know what. It's not V. I can't remember. What is the wireless? Whatever, you know, you do the if config. Do your if config, okay? If config, and then find your device on there, and then you want to go obviously as root hostname VIO, whatever it is, .vio, and then you want to really put in, quite simple really. Let's go back. So you want to put in, well, I think that's all you need. An example for files. So this is an example, okay? So that's your network ID. So whatever your network ID is, and then your password. So network ID, I don't know what your network ID is on your Wi-Fi, and then you want to put in WPA key, and then you actually want to put in the password, okay? And then inet autoconf. So it automatically resolves your DHCP, whatever it's called. You know all these things. Just do that. That will work. And that's a nice little way to set up. So you don't necessarily have network manager. You just do it like that. Okay. And then you've got some more stuff here. And some more if config stuff. So play around with that. Hopefully that will help you if you're doing it on bare metal. Okay. So I think we'll leave that there. So the next kind of thing is the X window system. So maybe on the next stream or video, I will do setting up X, setting up, I know, like Firefox or whatever web browser, take it from there. So I think that just gets your system set up nicely. Again, most of the defaults are done. Okay, keyboard should be fine. I think my keyboard works fine. So yeah, the keyboard's working fine. Hopefully you can see this. So my @ key isn't my @ key because obviously American and UK keyboards get those mixed up. So so that, you know, like Linux, power off or shut down. Let's do shutdown now. There you go. You go. OpenBSD working. TTY working. Internet working. Enter path name of shell, return, whatever. Okay, that didn't work. Let's exit. Shutdown not working. Don't know what it's doing. Is it shutting down? Oh my God, what is it doing? It's crazy. Okay. Open test. Power off. Power off now. Shut down. Do as. No, I haven't got do as set up. I need to do that. I'm just going to see what it says. Shut down. Oop. Do as shut down. Shut down. Shut down now. Is it finally doing it? Okay, I don't know how to shut down OpenBSD. And path name of shell. I don't. Wow. Why can't I shut down? Okay, this is going well. Try init 0. Shift page up. Oh, really? They kept that. Shift page up. Oh, yeah. Shift page up. Shift page down. Okay, maybe I'm sold now on OpenBSD. Linus Torvalds, that's why he doesn't like OpenBSD, or he doesn't like BSD, because they left the scrollable frame buffer. I still don't know how I can't shut down. Init 0. Unknown terminal type. What? How can it not know what terminal it's in? Okay, maybe I'm going to log in as root. I'm going to log in as root. Oh, I should have typed log out. Who knew the hardest thing about OpenBSD was shutting it down? That's how secure it is. You can shut it down. Okay, I'm going to log in as root. Let's try now. Okay. Still don't understand why it won't shut down. How to shut down OpenBSD. Do it from the GUI. Shut down. Unknown terminals. I don't really understand that. Why is it? Les doesn't understand the terminal. SH. But it's not SH, is it? It's usage shutdown time. Shutdown. What is it on Linux? So Linux is like power off, isn't it? Is it the same? Power off the machine. Default. Halt the machine. Reboot. -P. There we go. You have to do -P and then now. What? I don't even know. And I had to use Linux to work that out. Weird. There's disk space, 20 gigs. Anyway, there you go. So we'll leave it there, I think, because we installed OpenBSD on the virtual machine. We covered some simple things. It's pretty simple to set up. Yeah, -P. What is that about? Proper Unix, obviously. Doing it all wrong in Linux all this time. Power off, don't do power off, doesn't work. Shutdown, don't do shutdown, doesn't work. Shutdown -P now. That's how you got to do it. Anyway, so cheers guys for watching the live stream. This video will eventually go out, and not too fancy now. I'm just gonna have it this kind of setup, see how that works. So you can say I'm not the Primogen now for Linux, well, for OpenBSD, whatever. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that. That's really not appropriate. I'm definitely not the Primogen. Anyway, so enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll maybe see you tomorrow, maybe. And we'll continue OpenBSD, I think. We're getting somewhere. We're going to continue with setting it up. We'll get the X Windows server, XenoDM. Okay. Right. See you later, guys.